I finished brushing my teeth with the new sonic toothbrush that Gloria bought me. I didn't see what was so fancy about it, but I wasn't going to object. The past few days had been amazing. I had been so afraid to tell her my secret. I had carried it for almost 20 years. How do you tell the woman you just moved in with that you like to wear diapers? I didn't need them, I just liked them. And yet, here I was, standing in our bathroom in a lime green onesie and nothing else, a thick diaper barely hidden by the snap crotch. Pink plastic peeked out on either side and the bulge was very clearly there. I was still in shock, honestly. I had finally given my tear-stained confession 3 weeks ago. We'd been dating for a little over 2 years and had moved in together about a month ago, and then the packages started appearing. It was more than I could have dreamed. Every day was like Christmas. That night, Gloria had told me that she also had a confession, but it took some courage to work up to as well. She said she'd tell me soon. I swore to myself I'd be as accepting and loving about whatever she had to tell me as she had been for my dark secret. She had told me that she'd be home late tonight, but she expected me to be in the crib when she got home. One of the packages had been an inflatable crib. We blew it up and put it in the master bedroom, in the corner. It stood to my chest. I could crawl through the bars easily and climb over it, but there was something wonderful about it. Tonight was going to be my first night sleeping in it. I had no idea if it would actually be comfortable or not, but when I had laid down in it the first time and she stared down at me, I was in heaven. I crawled in through the bars and laid down, hugging my stuffed unicorn tightly. I grabbed the amazingly large pacey she'd bought. It was red with a white ring. The package it came in said it was from Germany, and clipped the pacifier clip to my onesie and popped the nipple in my mouth. I laid down to watch a show on my phone. I was madly in love with Steven Universe. I'd seen this episode 3 times already, but it was wonderful. Garnet was so inspiring, how she was who she was regardless of what anyone thought. Just as the episode was finishing and I was singing along with the closing lyrics as best I could around the pacey, I heard the front door open. "Jackie sweetie, I hope you're in your crib." "I am. I'm a good girl." I called back, letting the pacey dangle on the clip. I climbed to my knees to stare over the crib bars at her, sinking into the inflatable mattress. "You are a good girl, you're mommy's good girl," she cooed at me and set my heart aflutter. I knew she wasn't physically attracted to me this way, but this love was just as special. It was still a romantic love. I wouldn't want to share this particular feeling with anyone else on the planet, but it wasn't a sexual love. "Okay, I know I've been holding off on my part of the confession for a while. I wanted to make sure you felt loved and accepted before I spilled my dark secret, too. You need your pacey right now." She paused to stroke my hair and pop my pacey back in my mouth. I swear there was a glint of light as she tapped the shield, but it had to be my imagination. "There's nothing wrong with you, sweetie. There's nothing wrong with wanting to wear a diaper and sit in a crib. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be taken care of, to be made to feel small and protected. You know that, right?" I nodded, tears forming unbidden in the corners of my eyes. She was saying the words I had been wanting to hear since I was a child. I had always wanted to wear a diaper. I had no idea why. I had asked my mother when I was young. I was 5 or 6, and she had mocked me and told me everyone would make fun of me. She had made me wear one of my little sister's diapers and stood me in front of the mirror, making me wet it while I stared at myself, the whole while she told me that it was wrong for me to want to be a baby, wrong and shameful. I felt the fear and shame grip my heart as I was suddenly 5 years old again in my mind's eye, but Gloria's soft touch brought me back to reality. "There's nothing wrong with you," she continued. "I like it when you're little. You have this innocent sweetness about you that I never knew I wanted. You're so darling and fragile. Your emotions are so close to the surface. You're sad, you're happy, and your emotions feel stronger this way. I love it. I love you. I'm happy you trust me enough to share this part of yourself. I'm happy to put you in a diaper and make you my little girl." She sat on the corner of the bed and stared at me, her dark brown eyes shining with love. She smoothed down a wrinkle in her hospital scrubs and pulled the tie out of her auburn hair, letting it fall past her shoulders. I loved it when she let her hair down. She was gorgeous. Gloria was a little heavy-set. She had some insecurities around that, but I loved her anyway. We were about the same height, but she had a few pounds on me. I was almost too thin. You could count my ribs when I stretched. She also had DD cups to my B cups. Hers wouldn't look good on me though, and they were amazing on her. People were mean to her a lot about her size, especially her family, but I was always there to help pick up the pieces. It wasn't from a lack of trying on her part. We'd done the same diet together. She just couldn't seem to lose the weight. It actually caused a little bit of static between us, because I lost 15 pounds in a month trying her diet, while she struggled to lose 5. I felt badly for her, not because of how she looked, she was gorgeous to me, but because of how other people made her feel. "There's a secret I have kept from you too," she said softly. "It's going to sound stupid, but I swear it's the truth. Everyone I've ever told has left me, so I've been afraid to tell you. I love you a lot, Jackie. I reached for the pacey to tell her I loved her too, but she put a finger to the shield. SHH, let me talk. You're too little to talk right now, just listen. The words sent a shiver down my spine. I'm Bruja, she said, looking down. It skips generations in my family, it skipped my mother and grandmother, they thought it was gone forever, but... Gloria looked like she was about to cry. I tried to spit out the pacey to console her, but it wouldn't budge. Trying to spit it out just led to me sucking on it. It'll be good for us. I have to get this energy out somehow, and this way, you get to experience a little something extra. She stroked my cheek. You're too little to get out of your crib alone, she said with a smile, and I knew I saw some light on her fingertips this time. I want to show you we can have fun with this, it's not all bad. She scooted back on our queen-sized bed. Come to mommy. She held her arms out to me. I had no idea what she was talking about, I had no idea what Bruja meant, but I knew I would love her no matter what. I stood up to climb over the inflatable railing of the crib, but I couldn't. I couldn't lift my leg high enough. Gloria smiled at me. Come on, sweetie, come to mommy. Her arms were so inviting. I tried to sit down and crawl through the bars, but I just couldn't. It was like something was stopping me from leaving the crib. I sat back on my diapered butt, confused. Gloria came back to the crib and leaned down, helping me up by my armpits. With her hands under my arms, I was able to swing a leg out of the crib and stand next to her. I tried to ask her how, but I still couldn't talk around the pacey, nor could I spit it out. I was actually starting to get a little scared. She pulled me down on top of her on the bed and hugged me. It's okay, sweetie, be a big girl and use your words, she said as she pulled my pacey from my lips. Gloria, what just happened? I asked, my voice thick with fear. I told you, sweetie, I'm Bruja. A witch. I have the power to make people believe things that aren't true, make it real for them for just a little bit. Actually, I have to. If I don't, I get sick. We're going to find out if using it to make you happy has the same effect on me as what I normally need to do with it. That's my secret. Do you still love me? You're a witch? Like seriously? Hocus pocus and broomsticks and all that? That's not real, Gloria. Are you making fun of the secret I shared with you? Why would she make light of this? I bared a piece of my soul to her. If she couldn't take it seriously, I don't know what I'd do. This wasn't a joke to me. But it didn't look like it was a joke to her either. Her lips tightened with hurt and the smile faded from her eyes as she helped me back into the crib. I didn't resist, my emotions were in turmoil. No, Jackie, I'm not making fun of you. This is really hard for me to talk about, she frowned. Let's assume I'm 100% telling the truth. Would you love me if I were a witch? She was serious. Completely and totally serious. As I gazed into her gorgeous eyes, I could see the fear of rejection there. That feeling I knew all too well. I had shared my secret before and been mocked. Sharing it with Gloria had been terrifying and painful, but she loved me even though the desire I shared was ridiculous. I promised myself that I would go into this with love and acceptance, just as she and I was failing. Of course I would still love you. I looked her straight in the eyes and professed my love with all the sincerity I had in my body. I would never do anything to hurt this woman, the first person who ever really saw me for me. A tiny flame of fear kindled in my heart that I was causing her the very pain I was terrified of myself. Do you need to go to the potty? She asked me, not breaking the eye contact. A little bit, I confessed. This was a little frustrating, we were having a serious conversation, this wasn't the time to play our little game. I needed her to know that I was there for her, I didn't want her to hide behind my little feelings. I wanted her to know that she was loved in equal measure, but this is serious, Gloria. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I love you deeply, and if you're serious about this, I want you to know that I'm there for you. SHH, she stroked my cheek and the light was on her fingers again. You're too little for the potty, use your diaper. I felt a tingle where she touched me, that traced its way down my body, into my diaper. What? I asked, and felt that my diaper was growing warm. I put my hand between my legs and felt the padding swelling up under the onesie. Did I just? You're too little to stand by yourself, she booped me on the nose and my legs collapsed. I stared up at her from the inflatable mattress of the crib. The glow was still fading from her fingertip, there was a faint red hue to the light. I tried to stand up but my legs wouldn't listen. I started to panic. I couldn't stand. Gloria, what's going on? Why can't I stand up? I couldn't keep the panic from showing in my voice, but she looked completely calm, the fear was fading from her face, she was Gloria again. Because you're so little, silly. You're just my tiny, little, baby girl. Isn't that what you always wanted? You like being little. I do like being little, are you saying you can take away my bladder control? My ability to walk? You can make me your baby. I couldn't believe the words that were spilling from my lips, but I could feel that nervous joy growing in my stomach. Butterflies. It was impossible, but I wanted it so badly. Yes, sweetie. How does that make you feel? She was probing, her tiny core was vulnerable, she was serious about what she was sharing. This was real. The possibilities were incredibly exciting and terrifying at the same time. But in her question, there was fear. If I responded with fear as well, it would break her. Can I stop you? I couldn't keep the tremor from my voice entirely, nor could I keep the blush from my cheeks. I didn't honestly know how I wanted her to respond. Do you want to? There was a touch of sadness in her voice, that fear of rejection. She was placing her secret heart in my hands and hoping against hope that I didn't crush it. I sat on my squishy bottom and thought about the implications of her supposed power. My diaper was warm and comfy and I didn't have to struggle to wet it. It was electric, my heart was pounding in my chest. I had wet a diaper for the first time just 2 days ago, it was so hard. I had to imagine I was sitting on the toilet for minutes before I could finally go. Gloria had teased me about it as she changed me. Having her touch me and then just wetting, even if it wasn't magic, it was magical. It was hard to believe, but it was hard to deny too. No, I grinned, but, if I wanted to, could I? Or can you use it as a punishment? Oh, someone wants to be bratty, hi. A smile spread across her face as well, with a glint of playfulness in her eye. She saw me. Of course she saw me, Gloria knew me better than any other person on the planet. She loved me, despite all my imperfections. She saw me for who I was, in a way that no one ever had before. And she accepted me. Maybe, may I please? My heart surged in my chest. For some reason, I wanted her to make me little. I didn't understand the desire, but it felt amazing. Let's see, you already can't get out of your crib, you can't stand up or walk, and you have no bladder control, what else do you want to lose? Can you take my words? My pulse was racing, this was too good to be true. If I was dreaming, I didn't want to wake up. If your tantrums get out of control, yes I can. I can render you completely mute or I can leave you with just a few words. Is someone feeling fussy? Gloria reached forward and pinched my cheek playfully. I'm going to make a big bottle for you to drink and you're going to drink the whole thing without fuss, right? No. I shouted, though I couldn't keep the grin from my face. I'm not thirsty. I don't want a bottle. I laid down on the mattress and kicked my feet, flailing my arms. No 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 no. Sweet girl, Gloria smiled. Someone is too little to speak, no words from you. She tapped my forehead with a glowing finger, and my words were gone. Wah! I yelled, finishing my tantrum with a grin. Yeah. I giggled and clapped my hands. I had never felt this little before. I was trapped in a crib, in a wet diaper, and I couldn't say a word until my lady love allowed it. I laid down and sucked on my pacey and hugged my unicorn while I waited for my bottle. She came back with it and I sat up, reaching for the bottle and opening and closing my hands. Does someone want their bottle now? Is my little princess going to be a good girl? AAA, I let the pacey drop from my lips and nodded. Drink it all gone, or I'll make you, Gloria smiled. I expect that diaper to be nice and wet for me. Show me how little you are, princess. The feelings were amazing as I lay back and drained the bottle. Peach water, she had added a sweetener to the cold water. It was delicious. This was my fantasy come true. I didn't have to ask for it, I didn't have to pretend. I really was Gloria's little this way. I had no choice. There was no shame in something I had no control over. I was completely trapped, and free to enjoy it. And that made it all the sweeter. The end.